Hello everybody, welcome back. As you can see, the stuff is in my eyes, so I've got my phone kind of latched onto my computer, so I'll just stick it in sleep. Just give me 1 second. Okay, that's better. So today I thought I'd sit somewhere else and you can see some stuff. There's my child when she was young, my husband, and my child and husband. Today, okay, just the reason why I moved it is because I'm really funny about people seeing stuff, but it's just not working for me, so oh well. Okay, today I wanted to talk about, rather than a Q&A, which is what I've been doing in a reaction video, I wanted to talk about something that not a lot of people talk about, and it is a well-known thing. That's what's going on, and I wanted to just briefly, try and keep this short, briefly talk about something that a lot of people don't either want to talk about, or it's something that people just go, yeah, it won't happen to me. On Monday, I went to a funeral, and it was a beautiful funeral, as beautiful as it could be. And the person committed suicide and left behind a partner and children too, keeping their privacy at arm's length, and also who I went with and everything else and where it was. Now, my husband just called me. We're doing car insurance. Now, as I was saying, I was talking about a funeral and that this person committed suicide. Now, I'm not going to say if it was male or female, but I want to briefly talk about how, one, it's not weak when someone commits suicide. It doesn't mean that they're a coward. It doesn't make them any less of a person. It just makes them look like that they had nowhere else to go. And suicide is more of a confusing and questioning topic, in the sense that this person that committed suicide, from what I heard, they gave no indication that they were happy, that they didn't even seem depressed, that nothing in the world could make them feel that way. However, they did it, and a lot of times depression and suicide go hand in hand, because I have suffered for many years depression, now and then, and I will say this, because I did suffer depression, I suffered postnatal depression as well. I was at high risk, and if I have another child, I'm still at high risk for having depression. I'm also at high risk for generally having depression. I can be diagnosed with depression, there's no doubt about it. And there are days where I think, oh my God, like, all these thoughts are going in my head, like, you should be a better wife, a better mother. What? You can't do this right. What? Now, the situation is that I don't work. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with TTP. I did have a job at a cafe. However, I gave that away, not because I was depressed, but because I was sick. I had to keep taking time off work. I'm living off Centrelink payments. It's not that I don't want to work, and a lot of people in my family and friends, which I know, believe I don't want to work. A part of me doesn't want to work because I have a 3-year-old, and from basically the day that they're born to the day that they go to school, everything happens in there, like their first word, when they first walk, crawling, when they first using a spoon when they're toilet training, which is not fun, but it's still something you get to see. Their first drawing, their first letter they get to write. You know, everything happens then. Once they reach five and they're going to primary school, that's when everything goes off the rails. That's when you go, oh my God, I didn't know my child could do that. So in between there, yeah, there's a part of me that doesn't want to work, but then there's a part of me that does want to work, because my husband is now suffering from a back condition because he's working his backside off to support us. Now, a lot of stress does come from me. I am not an easy person to live with, and I'm not going to admit that he's the easiest person to live with. When you're married to someone, both of you are not easy to live with. It's not just me. I can't be the one that starts the arguments all the time. I overreact. I take things to heart very easily, and I overreact about the smallest of things. However, he also makes it difficult. 1, because of his culture. 2, because of his beliefs. And 3, he's arrogant. And I would not change him, because if he changed, then that's not the man that I married. The man I married is the one that I wake up to every morning. The one that I say I love you. The one that I want to be with, you know. And also being at home, it's really, really lonely. There's a time where I'm sitting here and I would love to just go to a friend and say, hey, let's hang out. But I don't have friends. I have friends. I have maybe 2 good mates that I've known since primary school. So we're talking 10, 15 plus years. We're talking about, you know, since 1995, we're talking 95, 96. That's how long. So, you know, you add that up, that's going on to what, 18 plus years that I've known these two for. And the last time I saw them, the last time I saw my first friend was a few years ago. And the last time I saw my other good friend was probably when she left my high school. So we're going back to 2003. That's all. Oh, wait, no. 3 years ago I saw her, sorry. When my daughter was born. And I still love them, but they've got their own social groups. They've got their own families now. And, you know, I found out that my good friend that I saw a few years ago, she had depression. And I'm thinking, really? I didn't even know. Like, you didn't even tell me. So depression hits everybody. Like, I didn't think that my friend, I'll just call her A, friend A, would get depressed. She's one of the happiest people I know. And it was the same with this person that committed suicide. I've said it now. He was a happy person. He was a good father. You know, all these things, and you think, why? Why would you do it? When I was in high school, I suffered major depression to the point where going out was hard. The only time I would go out was to work so I could make money, so I could just blow it. You know, when you're depressed, if you've got money, you go on excessive spending sprees to try and make yourself feel good. You know, I was self-harming, and it got to the point where the only way that I could ask for help was when I was doing it in front of my teacher and gloating and making jokes about how the scissors were blunt. I couldn't do it. And my mate sitting there, or a mate of mine was sitting there, and said, don't do it. I said, no, I'm going to do it because I don't care. And I didn't care. And there was that moment where you think, when I think back. And I think, where the hell was my mind at? And my mind wasn't there. Like, I was physically there, but mentally my mind was in a black hole thinking I'm never going to get out. And I don't want to get out. Because you make yourself feel comfortable being in this black hole. Because if you feel crap, it means that no matter what people say, it'll add on to that crap. And at the end of the day, because you feel crap, that's the way that it's going to be. So when you say sticks and stones, when you say that to someone who's depressed, they generally don't care. But they care so much that they're hurting inside. And the fact that it's a silent walking disaster, because my mum has been a psych nurse for 30 plus years. Someone who you go to and she knows what she's talking about. We're talking about a parent who has over 6 different degrees, masters, bachelors, diplomas, you name it. My mum loves studying. She just finished her latest masters. Now my mum can't be called overqualified. She has so many qualifications, she could be doing something different. But she likes doing her job, from what I know of. My mum was a psych nurse in 2003, still is. And she had no clue that her daughter was depressed until she was at the until she was at the counsellor, and until I was at the counsellor, and until that counsellor called my mum saying, your daughter has been self-harming. Now, the one question my mum asked herself, which she told me, is how could I have not seen? My mum knew something was wrong, but she didn't know the extent. And that is the scary thing. Nobody knows the extent that someone is feeling. It's like those Facebook videos you see. That girl you just called fat is starving herself. That guy you just called gay committed suicide. Your words hurt. And it's like if you told a 3-year-old to shut up, or you called them stupid, or you say you're worthless. Even if you say it to anybody, you don't know if they're going to take that home and they're already getting that, or they're just going to laugh it off and go, I don't care. Either way, words hurt, and you have to realize, and everybody has to realize, if you start saying degradable phrases and words to your loved one, to your friends, to your family, to your dog, to your own child, you're eventually going to make them think, you know what, I am stupid. I can't do this. I got told by someone that I'm not a good mother. I'm not going to say what the situation was. I'm not going to say who it was. But they basically told that I wasn't raising my child right, that someone else was raising my child, and that I wasn't a good mother. Now, when someone says that to someone who loves their child, who stays up with them 24/7 when they have croup, when they are sick, when they're coming to your room saying, Mummy, I don't feel well, changing them because they've had an accident at night, when you're 24/7 looking after your child, when someone turns around and says something like that, it cuts you like a knife. It guts you. And believe me, for a long time I told myself, maybe I'm not looking after my daughter. Maybe it is because of this person. Maybe it is because of this reason. And I was picking points that made me less of a mother. But at the end of the day, after so long, after nearly 3 to 6 months of telling myself I'm not a good mum, I finally realized, you know what, this person is wrong because I am a good mum. They don't stay with her 24/7. They don't see what I see. They're not the ones who are teaching her about her culture. They're not the one who is sticking by them 24/7 and picking them up when they cry, listening to them when they laugh, giving them food, helping them toilet train, making sure that they become real people and that they're not going to be people that people don't want to hang out with. I finally realized that I'm a good mum and I am doing the best I can. But at the end of the day, it still hurts. And I contemplate that every day now. I don't feel it, but I contemplate it, that when I tell my child off, am I going to think, oh my God, is that because I'm a bad mum? Is that because I don't want to be a bad mum? Maybe I should give my daughter what she wants. But I stick my ground. But words like that and sentences like that, they stick into someone's mind, especially someone who is insecure like myself. It sticks in your mind and you think, really? Am I really that bad of a person that someone thinks of me like that? I'm going to say this because I am and I have been through it. If you are depressed, you feel suicidal, that you're self-harming, get help. It's easier said than done, believe me. It took me 9 years to realize that it's okay to ask for help. It took from 1995, when I was bullied, to 2003, so 95, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3. It took me 8 years of constantly being harassed, constantly being name called, constantly having objects thrown at me, constantly being in fights, having my lunch stolen, having half of my stuff stolen, not like mobile phones and stuff, and things like my pens, texters, things that I would ask my mum for constantly. It took me 8 years to get help, and by then it was too late, because for the next 9 years I was battling with myself, with school, with stress. I was battling every day. I am telling you, if you feel like you can't talk to your mum, and I don't know, like, help, there's a helpline for Australia, but I don't know if there's helplines where you are. Find someone, whether it be a friend. If your friend says, dude, you'll be fine, it's just because you're stressed, it's just because of this, ignore that friend and find someone else. Constantly go to people. As I said, I know it's harder said. I know it's harder to do than it is said. But if you keep hiding behind this evil monstrosity, hiding behind closed doors, and hiding in general, scars and burns and anything else you've been hiding from people, it will get worse. It'll get to the point where you just give up. And your life is worth so much more than to give up. I know this video is long. I keep looking at the time. But I'm going to talk about this more. I've talked about it in my blog, which you can go see. I'll leave a link of my blog down below. But please, I am begging you, find the help you need. Talk to anybody. A friend's parent, a police officer, an AMBO, a fire department, anybody that'll help. A random stranger. If they don't understand you, move on to the next person. You've got to keep fighting, because at the end of the day, like me, you'll see that you're worth living. it's going to be a struggle for the rest of your life, because you will suffer times where you just want to die. I feel it. I understand. I've been there. I'm still there. But when you find something like I have that smiles at you every day and tells you that they love you, that is what's worth fighting for. That is the moment you realize that your life has meaning, and that it's okay to feel the way you do. But it's not okay to think that no one cares, because someone out there, I can guarantee it, it'll be in the least place you expect it, but you'll find that someone cares and they will listen. Please find a support group, find support numbers, find anything, and talk to someone. Have a nice one, guys.